Erev Tov, Ramat Gan. Good morning in Phoenix. Greetings to everybody. My name is Wayne Firestone. On behalf of all my colleagues at the American Israel Friendship League, I'm excited to be with you on a Super Sunday. It's in the United States, 4th of July weekend. It's only July 2nd. Can you believe it's July? We are in July, if you blinked. Independence Day is here. We have an Independence Day celebration with two great family traditions in barbecue. Before we begin, let's do a little community building and hear from people who are with us live and are willing to share a little bit how you're celebrating independence. If you're here celebrating actually the 4th of July weekend, let us know about your celebrations, what you're doing, if you're with family, if you're traveling, if you've got your own picnic to go to today or over the weekend. Let us know how you're celebrating independence. And even if you're not in the United States celebrating the 4th of July weekend and activities, we're still interested in how you celebrate independence and what independence means to you this year. We have people who've already called in from San Diego and from Florida. So we got both coasts covered. And we're going to begin today in the backyard in Austin, Texas with Barrett Black and family. Barrett Black, if the name means conjures any bells for you, is from the Black family, from Black's Barbecue, the pedigree name in barbecue, brought to you today by 3 generations that are actually in Barrett's backyard. We'll talk about that in a minute. Barrett, how does one celebrate 4th of July when you're in the business of barbecuing day in and day out? I see a lot of barbecues around you.
Yes. Well, the day of 4th of July, we learned a long time ago, we actually celebrate after July 4th because we work so hard to make memories for everybody else, and we're happy to do it. My wife had a steep learning curve when she married into the family about like, oh, we actually celebrate major holidays slightly afterwards because we're fortunate to be so busy on those days. But we love cooking out in the backyard, just getting together. Not necessarily cooking brisket because we get enough of that, but I love cooking other cuts and excited to add what Chef Ziv has taught me to our repertoire, the lamb today.
Well, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce the whole family in a little bit, and a little bit of the family history as well. Let me first now introduce your co-pitmaster on the other side of the pond, Ziv Ruder. Is with us in Israel at his family restaurant called Hama Ashana. Ziv, help me with the pronunciation.
Yeah, it's called Hama Ashana.
Hama Ashana.
Hama Ashana. In Hebrew, it's the place that you smoke in it and the smoker itself.
So it is actually the literal definition of the smoker. And I know this is something that not everybody realizes, that there is a barbecue scene in Israel, but you realized it and have your own restaurant, and have also have a family tradition of working with your dad as well on some of the innovations that you use in the cooking. How did you get into this in the beginning, Ziv?
Actually, I was it's like a funny story. I decided I want to quit from the kitchen and the restaurant industry. And I came to the States, and I worked in different kind of jobs and friends and stuff like that. I was looking for myself and find out about the smoking scene, and tried a few of them in Alabama, in Tennessee, in Texas, in Arizona. A lot of time I have friends over there. And when I came back, I didn't really have a plan, but I knew that maybe with this, there's something I can work with, like to light up a fire, to make my small coffee, and wait till the evening for the customers to come.
Great. Well, what I want to do is give each of you an opportunity to share a little bit about how your respective family businesses evolved, and we have to go back quite a number of years with the Black family to get it origins. And so we actually, Barrett, as you're telling us a little about the family history, 4 generations. I know your dad is actually with us in your backyard, and your son is with us. So we've got a whole family contingency. But take us back to the 1920s, and the origins of the Black family in this business. I understand this business started at a tough time in American history and in your own family history.
Yeah, exactly. My great-grandfather is the one who started it. And like many things during the era of the Great Depression, started out of necessity. The whole community was struggling to, just feed their families, feed their communities, and just do normal tasks. And so my great-grandfather, he had some cattle, and he just decided, I'm going to fight my way out of this. I'm not going to take this laying down. I'm going to help myself, my family, and my community. And he had a friend who had a building, and they went into business together and started a meat market. I thought, I'm not going to just watch my cattle die out there and my friends and family. And so he started just selling some raw meats, different cuts of steaks, like your traditional butcher shop. But as many people know, in that time, in that era, there was no refrigeration. Or if there was, it was very expensive and very hard to come by. So that's kind of how the smoking began, because of course we as humans have been smoking for millennia. And he just started to put his own spin on that, and just out of necessity to get more shelf life out of that meat, so that way he could sell it and not have it go to waste and rot, basically. And he cared about it a lot, and he did everything he could to affect that recipe. And the meat market slowly grew into a grocery store, just adding a few groceries here and there, and just building and building. And eventually my grandfather, the second generation, took it over. He bought it from his dad when it was time for his dad to retire. And that's when really the perfection of our barbecue began. My grandparents, way before barbecue was cool, way before it really mattered, they dedicated themselves to, creating, a great product and a great experience for their customers. And it seems just like second nature today, because that's, dining out is such a big deal, but that was very new back then. And now my dad, my brother, and I can see my mom and my dad on the screen now. They've taken it over from my grandparents, and they, along with my brother, we are carrying on that legacy and tradition and preserving the legendary flavors and techniques and uniqueness that my grandparents helped pioneer and evolve, but making sure we're, still having fun with it, and learning from people like Ziv, Israel, and taking in all kinds of different inspirations. But at our core, we'll always be a legendary old school Texas barbecue restaurant, but not afraid to have some fun and learn some new things too.
I appreciate both the spirit of that innovation and the origin of your family in the Depression era of becoming an entrepreneur, and then the family. I love how you refer to perfection and taking it up a notch and trying new things. And indeed, that's going to be one of the I guess through lines for this episode, because we've asked each of you to share a recipe and to prepare something. So Ziv, we'll come back in a moment to talk about the dish that you prepared that Ziv made. Ziv, I know not everyone's going to be able to see it because of the lighting. It's a very bright day in the Mediterranean, as it is in Texas at the moment. But I see you're wearing your own bling from Black's Barbecue, and so I know you mentioned that during your visits to the United States and the West, and I know you had influences in Louisiana, if we're allowed to say that, as well, with a Texan online. When did you make the decision to start your restaurant, and how did Israelis relate to the kind of smoked meats that you prepared?
You're asking me because I didn't hear you for a few
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah. Ziv, I want to
I'm-
hear a little bit
yeah.
about the opening of your restaurant and how Israelis related to having, smoked meats as part of their dining experience.
I'm not sure that you see me right. I see this very clear, and I'm a little worried about it. Can you change the
No,
camera?
we can see you. We see you good in one of the images. So go ahead, and we hear you good too.
Okay. Basically, I got in Israel. It's not really a barbecue joint. It's more like I did a fine dining meal. Let me show you like that. Well, all of the customers are coming on the same time, like in 8 o'clock. Now it's like 7:15. It doesn't matter if you book for a table for 2, for 5, or maybe you don't have it today, but for 15 or 16. And we light up this thing. This is the plancha, and we serve each meal each time. Like I'm cutting here on my spot. I'm putting out the whole brisket. I'm cutting it, and I'm serving it for all of the customers today. You understand? It's a big difference from the American barbecue joint that you stand in the line and you get your plate with the combo that you choose. This is like a fixed meal. It's like, I would say, like a fancy restaurant.
Well,
fine dining restaurant.
It's definitely
People open a bottle of wine.
And I think in Israel, the idea of like family style restaurant is very comfortable for most people sitting at tables together. Is that what you found?
Yeah, it's a bit culture. It's not that we don't have fast food, but in Israel, when you come to a restaurant, it's not like as common as an American family that goes 2 or 3 times or even more to restaurant. Here you go once a week, on the weekend, some occasion, just like a friends meeting, but it's not happen. We cook a lot at home. We have our family dinner and lunch. From my experience, the American, they cook at home, of course, but they eat more like takeaway or eating outside at work and stuff like that. Here it's, maybe in Tel Aviv, it's more common. Here, people don't go out as much, and when they go out, they're willing to pay and get served, and they don't want to stand in line. And
a very different dining experience. Sure, completely get it. All right, so let's begin with the exchange of recipes. Barrett, we're coming to you. Before we let you guys show off your amazing meats that have been cooking for some time now before the show, Ziv had a little bit of a head start because it's later there. But Barrett, tell us first about the recipe that Ziv gave to you to prepare in the backyard today.
For sure, yeah, lamb is what Ziv gave me, but I've cooked lamb Texas style a few times, but unfortunately lamb is not that popular in the United States. They're trying really hard. So my first challenge was, actually finding the cuts of lamb. He said, find some lamb spare ribs. And so I was able to find these lamb riblets, which, they have a lot of fat, intermuscular fat in them. But not a ton of meat on them, so I had to make sure to really get a lot of flavor, and that's where the wet rub that Ziv gave me really pumped up the flavor, and I think made it super unique. We are a dry rub country in Texas. It's all about it's just salt, pepper, and smoke, and the quality of the meat. But I love what Ziv has given me. We have sumac, we have mint, lemon juice, and lemon zest. And so I'm going to put some sumac in here. And the learning curve I had was just making a paste. I've done marinades, I've done dry rubs, but I haven't done this paste sort of thing. But I really love it, and I'm going to experiment it a bit more. Luke, will you squeeze that lemon in there?
yeah.
And Ziv, you correct me if I'm doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
But,
no, it's great.
yeah, the acid on lamb really gives it a brightness because so many people in the States get scared off by lamb. They think it's gamey, the flavors are too strong. But for those folks, I would say give American lamb a chance if that's what scares you is the gaminess, because they're fed differently than maybe what the other most common lamb. I'm not sure where Ziv gets his lamb from. It comes locally, but in a lot of the lamb
I
either
got
comes
him
from
Israeli.
Israel.
Yeah, my lamb. I'm the meat also. Everything here is from Israel.
That's great.
We have import the stuff, but I'm using the fresh fresh meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the lamb is very fat, so the acid is helping it, to be easier on the meat.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it is the sourness of the sumac and the acidity of the lemon really cuts through that fat and gaminess as well.
Show me closer so I can see how is it the taste.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I need some more sumac.
Looks right.
How does it look, Ziv?
Yeah, it looks good actually. I don't see the mint, but I'm not sure he really showed it before he took the camera back. The mint.
Let's see a little bit more.
I love the accent. Yeah.
All right, now we've got the mint as well.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got a nice paste in there. And then, yeah, what I did was just put, make sure I covered it nicely. Got a lot of that acidity on it. Didn't want it clumped up anywhere too much. And really just got to worry about the top and the sides because you got the membrane on the back that some people like to peel off. I always get too frustrated by this membrane trying to peel it off. So I just score it a little bit, just cut right through it. And as it's cooking, that membrane will shrink up and get real crispy and saves me a lot of trouble and headache. So I think that's about.
That looks like a great start for us, and we want to acknowledge your innovative, even though that's not on the menu, trying something from the Mediterranean and encouraging others to be more open to it as well. So Ziv, tell us, one of the great things about any Israeli restaurant is working with the fresh fruits and vegetables. And I know you got a recipe that has Texas roots in it for a side dish. Tell us a little about what you did with it and where you got the ingredients.
Well, actually, I got. I'm doing the. 1 second, I need something. צריך מגבת, להוציא מהשולחן. Sorry. Let me show you my meats already. Let's do it like this. This is the meat that we're going to serve today. This is like a skirt steak. We're making kind of a shawarma from that. This is a small short rib, a brisket, black, and picanha. I'm not sure how to call it. How do you say picanha in English? Picanha in English. Yeah, it's not the tri-tip. It looks mostly the same. No. Never mind. Picanha is very famous Brazilian cut.
Picanha.
Not picanha. Kenya.
We have someone who says they make it on a rotisserie.
Yeah.
Zillion sirloin.
Oh, you Google it? Yeah, but okay, this is the corn.
Oh, beautiful.
With we put we put the chipotle anchos. How do you call it, Barrett? And some black pepper
Yeah, ancho chili.
and the white vinegar. Hey, what?
Ancho chili.
Yeah.
Ancho chili. Yeah.
And now I need to put the. I got a friend of mine is picture also from different angle. And putting the mayo. I'm not sure how much should it be.
It really depends how creamy you like it, how thick you or your customers. I like it a little more watery, soup kind of consistency. Some people like it really thick and creamy. That's kind of the beauty of it. You add the mayo right at the end, and that helps it. You decide how you like it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Well, it looks kind of familiar, the color. I'll test it in a few seconds. And the cilantro, you put it only on the when it's served, or right now to get it with the mayo.
I like to cook it in there, so it gets really infused into that mayo.
Let's do that. I'm going to serve this today to the customers.
Uh-oh.
I have like 60, 70 customers. Why not?
All right. We've
Some more
introduced.
side dish.
And what are we calling this? Tex-Mex corn?
Yes, Mexican street corn.
Mexican street corn?
I don't know. Barrett, you tell me the name.
Yeah, that's what we call it. Most people, they eat it on the cob, but I came up with this version that works in the restaurant. In Austin, whenever my grandparents were not eating barbecue, they were always eating Tex-Mex or Mexican food. So that's my other kind of love is barbecue and Tex-Mex flavors. So it's fun to share that all the way across the ocean to Ziv.
So it's ready and I'm serving this hot, right?
Yep.
Ziv, we have a suggestion from Daphna who wants to know if you can add labneh.
Labneh. Yeah,
What do you think?
here in my restaurant, I'm kind of keeping it kosher. So we don't
Got
use
it.
any.
Got it. Keeping the dairy out. Well, this dish as is very kosher on a number of levels.
No, I'm not really certified kosher. I don't want to.
Sure.
Explain anything, but yeah,
That
kosher style.
kosher style. Got it. So Barrett, how's that looking for an introduction of Mexican street corn in Israel for a first try?
I think it looks great. I'm ready to come on over and try it myself.
Yeah.
But they don't
It's
like
nice,
it.
I'm
You can
saying,
say, "Oh, it's this silly
need-
Texan taught me this."
I need some more salt, but it's very nice. I might gonna use it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Black
You got the
Sunday or something
vinegar,
like that.
a little bit of vinegar in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that little hit of acidity really kind of makes it pop.
Exactly.
So Barrett, let's come back to you because I know Zeeb sent you a recipe involving some vegetables. What did you find and what did you make with it?
Yeah, popular dish at his restaurant is roasting sweet potatoes, red cabbage, beets, and onions. And so that's all something I have a little bit of experience with, but adding some extra flavors was new to me. So what he taught me was to roast the sweet potatoes whole, which I don't do very often, but I absolutely love it because you get to just, determine how much char and smoke you want. And then even when you're eating it, you can decide, and it pulls away from the skin and it's that caramelized, smoky goodness on it, really sweet. And then to finish it off, he really taught me how to add some extra layers of flavor. Gave me a recipe for infusing oil with sage, thyme, and garlic. And so while the lamb was roasting at a low temperature, I had the oil sitting on the smoker, so it got real smoky and infused with the herbs. And so you just add a little bit of that on it. And then what Ziv calls his magic salts, which is kosher salt, black pepper, a little bit of dried shiitake mushrooms, and seaweed as well. So just, it starts off very simply when you put it on the smoker, just to really get that char and that smoke flavor on it. Ziv, after I cooked a lot of it, he started revealing more and more techniques to it, as far as how he lets the goose drip onto some of them and everything. But I love starting simply and then adding just these umami bombs, these flavor bombs at the end, with the oil and the salt. And so beets turn off a lot of people, but you know, the more you cook them, the more rich and sweet they get, and you add the right amount of salt and a little bit of char on it, a little crispy, and it's real soft on the inside. So I'm definitely gonna be cooking more and more beets in the coming weeks.
And how long do you cook that, Barrett?
The vegetables I did very, very hot. I had my smoker at 450 degrees.
Whoa.
Just because I really wanted that char on the outside. It's not a low and slow process for the vegetables. I mean, you could, but I like to do this when I'm cooking vegetables for Luke, you know, in the oven. I'll crank my oven up to 500, 550 just to, you know, set that char on the outside and cook a little bit on the inside, but still have that crispness, and not get real soft and mushy as well. And so that's what I love about doing vegetables real hot on the grill too. And yeah, that's something Luke likes to do is, you know, grill vegetables on the grill on the fire and
or on campfire.
on the campfires as well.
Well, that sounds like a very 4th of July thing to do.
Yeah,
So
it's a great way to get kids to eat their vegetables too, is get them involved in grilling and fire and cooking and create an experience around it. So I think my camera will be back in just a moment.
Okay. We'll come back to you. There you go. We got your camera back.
Yeah.
And in a moment, we're gonna learn about Luke's his own suggestions for cooks of a next generation, not just in the Black family, but for anybody else who has an aspiring pitmaster in the family. How is, I'll just ask this, not about Luke as a cook, but how is he at eating his vegetables in addition to the great meats you serve?
What do you think, Luke?
And
Yeah, likes to, he does eat quite a bit of vegetables. Just from an early age, we've gotten him involved in the process. Even if we're just roasting broccoli in the oven, we help him tear the broccoli apart to put on the tray, toss it with the oil, that kind of thing.
I like things that raw with oil.
Yeah. So just letting him try it different ways, and you know, just having fun walking through the grocery store and picking out the different colors and experiencing it. And so doesn't love everything, doesn't like everything. He's not a
Right, and I know you told me you were nervous about putting Luke live on for testimonials, but has he had a chance to try your vegetable medley from Ziv yet?
You want to try the sweet potato? All right.
Yeah, you always do that.
What do you taste?
Black pepper.
Black pepper. He tastes the black pepper. So he
Okay,
did
so
help make the umami salt, and he was tasting it and grinding up the seaweed. So yeah, I think just getting kids started early and just trying things, not pressuring them. I mean, it's a fun hobby for us.
absolutely. Well, we're gonna come back to Luke later as a barbecue pitmaster in training as well. Ziv, tell me, you know, in your restaurant, do you get people bringing their kids and having to create dishes that work for, you know, kids as well as for the adults, or usually the adults just want to get away from the kids and have a night out at a relaxing restaurant?
We don't have like a kids menu, but every kid love you know, when somebody asks for a French fries, I'm showing them the hot potato and the sweet potatoes, and they love it with some of them just want the chorizo, the sausage, or a chicken. Not really all the kids likes brisket, but it's good, but it's not very family kids restaurant. Like we have, I don't know, 5 kids a day, not more than that.
Got it. Well, we're looking at some pictures now. It's a very
Right, evening time.
it feels like a very relaxing space to be in, to eat outside. And how hot is it in at the restaurant these days?
No, not really. We have a big tree, and actually we have another nice thing. We ask the customer to deposit their phone. Like, we don't ask them; they don't have to, but we offer them a small drink if they do, just so they enjoy the silence and the break from the day.
Now that's very interesting. You give a free drink to anyone that doesn't use their cell phone during dinner?
Yeah, it's not a free drink. It's just a small chaser. How do you say? 1 second. Nadav, איך אומרים chaser? Small drink.
Chaser, I think.
Chaser is chaser. Okay.
Chaser is chaser. Barrett, would that work in Austin?
What?
Oh man, I don't know. We like when people have their phones so they can take pictures and share it with their family.
That's true. That's
But I
true.
understand where Ziv's coming from. It's definitely something I try to do when
Actually,
I'm out to dinner with my wife. So.
Let me tell you that. Most of the people don't, because they want to keep their phone, and some of them are just take the picture of the logo outside and said we cannot show you what went inside because they took the phone. It's good advertising either way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's an internal struggle in me with that, Ziv. It's like there's the personal side of me that loves it, and the business side of me. It's like, ugh, I don't know.
No, it's hard. It's hard. It was easy the first few years. Now these days, people all the time connected. They want the phone and see who's, I don't know, on the WhatsApp or whatever.
Absolutely.
And Ziv, I see you have both indoors and outdoors.
Right.
In the summer, do people tend to
Yeah,
go?
in the summer we host only on the outside, as you've seen on the picture, and you see it now. This is the garden. It's great. I love it. This is my team making brief. You see them?
That's a me.
Let's do that.
And does the menu change at all at different times during the year, or do you serve pretty much the same thing year round?
I'm serving. This is my team is doing a brief, and this is my small garden.
Beautiful.
Use some of the yeah. I got all kind of colors and shape of tomatoes and hot chilies and some more. You're asking about the menu. My thing actually is that we're serving the same thing in different kind of serving. Like,
I think we may have lost Ziv's audio a little bit. Barrett, I'm going to come back to you. Tell us, before we get to Luke, tell us a little bit about how your menu works at Black's. Is it pretty constant? I mean, it's such a iconic name. I think people, when they come there, probably know what they're ordering before they get to the menu.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, since we've been around 91 years, people come, they know what they want, either because they've heard about it from other people, or that's what their parents brought them when they were kids to get. And so there were a few years where I was really getting into cooking and trying different things and just creatively doing different stuff and trying different specials. And we put them on the menu, and people would be excited about it and say like, "Oh, that sounds really interesting. That sounds really good. But I'm here for the brisket, or I'm here for the beef ribs, or something like that." And so I just kind of resolved myself to say, it's like, I'm gonna do these things for maybe special events, special festivals, and things like that, and have fun with it. But the restaurant is always just gonna be old school salt and pepper smoked barbecue, just because that's what people want. what we're known for, and that's what we're best at.
And so can you tell us a little bit about the 4 locations? It sounds like what you're going to get at the 4 locations is going to be pretty much the same, right? But tell us a little about how each of those evolved.
Yeah, we had one location for what, 85 years? 85 years or so. So, we're a slow growth company, but that was mainly because barbecue wasn't as popular, as cool, and we didn't have the goals of franchise, and we still don't. Everything is still family owned, and we just decided that more people deserve to taste this, to experience it. My job, along with my dad and my brothers, to carry on the tradition and the legacies and the 90-year-old techniques and share them with as many folks as we can. So that's part of our strategy, and it's part of how we're having some fun with the business and giving people more opportunity and innovating in that way.
So we have a question about whether you are see a preference for a sweeter sauce versus sort of the more traditional Southern blends.
Well, sauce is an interesting topic at barbecue, especially Texas barbecue, because in Texas, if your meat needs sauce, then you're not doing it right. And so we were actually open for 40 years before we even had sauce in the building. And the only reason my grandmother came up with the recipe and we started serving sauce on the side was because we're here to serve our guests, our customers. And so she had so many people from out of the state coming to visit her asking for sauce, and okay, well, let's come up with one. And so it's an interesting debate. No offense to those who love their sauce and everything like that, but I was raised on, your meat, you gotta really respect your meat. Maybe that's why I've never done wet rub like Ziv has taught me, just because it's all about the salt, pepper, and the smoke. But what I really love about the sauce my grandmother came up with is it's tangy. It's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of sourness, but it's not all sweet. It's not all sour. It's a good middle of the road that really complements the meat and doesn't just cover it up, because you get a lot of sauces that just cover up the meat and that's all you taste is the sauce. And if that's what you love, great. But we're here to go off the meat and smoke.
Steve, what about in Israel? Do you find that people want a very, with the particularly the wet rub? Are they used to a more
No, the wet rub is only for one thing, the lamb spare ribs that we're doing, because they wanted the lamb on the acid from that. I'm using dry rub. I'm making a lot of dry rub. I got some of them are like American classic, like chili coffee rub and stuff like that. And most of them are with Mediterranean flavors, but we don't serve any. I don't have any barbecue sauce, and we don't serve no ketchup, no mayo. We serve only mustard and chimichurri on the side, and my dad's pickles, and only the meats. But
there's a question,
dinner,
Ziv, there's a question about chutneys, fruity chutneys. Do you use seasonal fruit with those?
I like it, but on other restaurants, I don't serve it. I don't make it.
Not with the barbecue.
No.
And can we get another peek at those meats in the smoker again? The ones that are cooking now?
Yeah. Today it's here it's Sunday. It's like not very busy day. Do you see anything?
Yeah, we see nice.
Yeah. Okay. This is this is a skirt steak, and this is the picanha that we talked about before. The brisket look like a nice bark, and a small cut of short ribs. And on the big smoker inside, we had some more stuff. I'm not sure if you've seen it before, because you said that the connection there is not really good. If you want, I can go over there. But we have some more meat over there.
Great. All right, so Barrett, we talked about when we were preparing for this show, a lot about what it means for you as a fourth generation in the family, but you were very generous to point out that there's a fifth generation in Black family that has already worked his way into the business. So tell us a little about, first of all, Luke, tell us what you're doing this summer and then what you cooked for us.
I'm going to cook corn.
Corn, how are you gonna cook it?
I'm going to put it on the smoker and rotate it like this. Before like 1 minute, you rotate it again, and then another minute, you just rotate it.
That sounds great.
And then
I think corn's making a big comeback these days. Very popular.
Yeah. And so for folks trying to get their kids involved, what I started with Luke was just get him, just to pick stuff out. The big first tip is like, whenever you're gonna start cooking or grilling with your kids, don't start hungry. Neither of you. Make sure it's just a fun activity, and just remember, you're not cooking a gourmet meal. It's not a contest. This is just fun with your kid. And so that's kind of what makes it fun. So, I'm not afraid to go do some shortcuts. I bought these pre-made skewers. What do you think of these, Luke? You ready to? What would you do with these?
take off the zucchini and bell pepper
Okay, why do you take those off?
and the squash.
Okay.
Because the bell peppers get really, really sweet, and I don't like a lot of sweetness in them. But and also the zucchini and squash, I've tried it, and it doesn't taste that good with it's with squash and zucchini mixed, or any of that is not good. I only like the onions and the mushrooms cooked.
Wow, it seems like Luke's got a very distinctive palate there.
Yeah,
I'm very interested
what he
to
likes,
hear how this
doesn't
came out.
yeah. We haven't had a chance to actually cook them yet, so that's gonna be lunch today.
Okay.
Throw those on the grills in the back.
And corn, yum, yum, yum.
But we have been eating up these lamb ribs that we made with Ziv's recipe. So he's loving that with the umami salt. Is that what you do with them, Ziv? Is you put the umami salt on that too? And some mint?
Yeah,
A little mint on it too?
Did he try? Did Luke try the lamb?
Oh yeah.
also.
Is that a thumbs up? Oh, that's a big thumbs up, Ziv. All right, I think we got a backyard hit for lamb, and the recipe went a long way to get over there.
Corn, yum.
That's right.
Now, do you ever bring
Yeah,
any leftovers to camp for lunch, or is that not allowed?
They can.
Yeah, this might go in your lunch tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be the. I guess you always are a bit of the
My lunch.
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
peeking in your lunchbox, I bet.
But we also got Luke his own little grill. It's a real grill. So I always encourage people, they have toy grills and stuff like that, but this is just it's a real like kind of camp out tailgate grill. That
Also, a mini gas grill.
he loves a gas grill too. So I have too many grills in my backyard.
Well, we like the idea that you're
Can you
take-
pick up in your shed?
That's right.
we like the idea that you're taking a family holiday and using it to also include younger generations in the tradition, not just the business, but of enjoying a good family
Like me and
barbecue.
my
Yeah.
Ziv,
So
I
we got
know that
another fifth generation over here to showcase my wife and my youngest. I'm real proud of this little guy. So
now he can't be cooking yet.
not yet, but he's not far along. He's eyeing those ribs right now. So we'll see.
I'm glad.
I'm glad to see. Zeev, tell us a little bit about your involvement with your dad in creating some of the innovations in your restaurant that you use today. I know that happened over a period of time.
Yeah, I built most of the restaurant with my dad. Look at that. We cut the wine bottle. You see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the tables it's all the doors. Maybe you can see from here. Like recycle the stuff for the wine for the table. And my dad actually is the one that built everything. The smokers also. That's my first one. What's that? Yeah, do you see that?
Yeah, we can see the smoker there in the back, right?
Yeah, and the big one, I'm not sure if I showed you before because you told me that you don't give me and we want to bear it. So we kind of built mostly everything here with my dad. That's the big smoker, the main one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's with open fire. And this is where I'm putting all the vegetables. You see, Bear, that's why I try to, with my lousy English, I try to explain. This is how I'm doing the beets, the potatoes.
Barrett, do you use any bi-level cookers like that, or everything gets its own space, the meat and the vegetables?
In the restaurant, it's all offset smokers. So we're, the fire's off to one side and then, just one level, long level. So it's not the most efficient use of space. That's just how my grandfather built the smokers. And so there are different temperature zones. Of course, the closer you get to the fire, the hotter it's going to be. And so we've got to adjust and kind of juggle briskets around and ribs sometimes. But yeah, this type of smoker that Ziv has, I'm excited to get over and visit his restaurant one day and see it in action. Yeah, you can come too.
So Barrett,
Yeah,
we have a question.
Send them out about our plan, Barrett.
What's the plan, Steve?
Well, the plan is that Barrett's going to convince his wife to come to Israel for the Holy Land for like maybe 10 days or 2 weeks. And we're going to make some special meal together.
We're working
Wow.
on it. We're going to find a date. We're going to make it happen.
When you make it happen, we want to be there. We want to show you guys cooking together and maybe in some of those spice markets picking things out. Barrett, we had a question about someone probably not in Texas, but wanting to know if they wanted to buy some of the sauces or spices that you have. Where would you recommend they begin, or do you offer that on your website?
Yeah, we actually ship all our meats and sauces and rubs on our website, blacksbbq.com. We're not nationwide available in stores. We're in a few specialty stores here in Central Texas, but the best way to get it from us is let us ship it to you.
Yeah.
Zeev, also, I'm sorry. So I want to make sure both of you give a very clear location of your restaurant. So Zeev, where exactly is your restaurant? Someone asked.
It's you need to put it on Waze or Google Maps and you see it. We just everybody knows Amashana in Israel, I think, I hope. But
what's the two called
closest cities?
Yanuv.
It's called Yanuv, the village, and it's close to Netanya.
Close to Netanya, Yanuv.
Yeah, it's like maybe 25 minutes north from Tel Aviv.
Okay. 25 minutes north of Tel Aviv. And Barrett, the four locations in Texas.
Yeah, all located around Austin. So we originally started in Lockhart, which is a small town just south of Austin, and then we've grown just a few towns around Austin because we're still family.
In San Marcos.
That's right. One's in San Marcos, but yeah, for now we're just keeping everything within driving distance of a day.
And so, how far will people drive to come to Blacks? What are some of the locations that have surprised you, where somebody shows up and said, I just got out of the car from X? Where have people driven in from?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Every day it's, we have people literally from all over the world. And
Yeah, I came like 15 hours flight.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
That's 2 hours driving.
yeah. So we have people who come in just for lunch all the way, 3 or 4 hours from Houston. They'll make a day trip like that. But we're definitely a stop for people that are, anywhere close to our area. They'll make sure we're on their list of stops to go out of the way if they have to make sure we're part of their trip. So all over the country, all over the world, really.
That's fantastic. Well, we're obviously we're putting in the chat now the links to the websites for the restaurants, so you can and anyone who's interested will send the exact addresses, as Zeev said. If you put it into WhatsApp, if you put it into Waze, you'll certainly be able to find it. And
and Google Maps and Waze, you just Google it and you find it. You're in Israel. Yeah, it's easy.
Zeev, what kind of meats do you say at this point are the most popular now in the restaurant?
Most popular, I think, picanha.
Picanha.
Because like maybe 10 years ago, the butcher wasn't really sure what do I want when I said picanha. Like I told them this cut and this cut, it's the tip of this. I was getting to the fridge and told him I want this, only the angle, and show them on the camera. Now everybody knows what's picanha, not because of me. Okay, I'm glad to be part of it, but it's very famous cut in Brazil, and in the States I also tried it. But I think there is a big hype on this in the last few years. On smoking stuff, my favorite is the short rib.
Barrett, I know you were prepared for everything and had a cooler full of other meats, just perhaps to show, in its sort of raw form. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things you do with those meats and what you find customers are asking for the most?
Yeah, Luke's got this big old brisket. Throw it out, but brisket is our number one. Brisket is king. This is what we're known for. This is what we, sell the most of. I wish I didn't have time to get to the restaurant this morning to get some fully cooked briskets, but this is how it starts out. It's a beast. It's a big, and so many people are intimidated by it. But the main thing to remember when you're cooking this at home is just,
Dad, can we put ribs in my lawn?
Sure. Let me finish talking about the brisket first. The method my grandfather came up with, he just didn't want to waste any parts of it, because he noticed when he was cooking it, different parts were burning up. And so parts that were too thin or, hard corners, he would trim off and use that to make our sausage, which makes our sausage so unique, because it's a beef sausage, a little bit of pork and salt and pepper. Definitely the brisket. My dad actually added the giant beef ribs, the short ribs. Ziv probably has some he's going to sell for tonight as well. But my dad was one of the first people in the country to add that to the menu every single day at a barbecue restaurant. And that's very, very popular. It's like a 9-inch bone with 3 or 4 inches of meat on top. It's great. It's beef, but I'm always so amazed by is like how different parts of the animal taste so different and have so much to offer. So.
And I know you said you're going to use the Zeev's dish for it looks like you got a family meal plan there for the afternoon, or do you have to get back over to the restaurant at some point?
I'm not sure what the afternoon has in store for me yet. But, we'll definitely throw these on the grill or something. Not today, soon.
And how hot is it? We've seen that Texas has had its share of challenges on the weather front. What's it like today?
I try not to pay attention to it. I just roll with it because the more I look at them, it's kind of depressing, you know, because it
Got
gets
it.
real hot. So I
Got
always
it.
think of the lesson my grandfather taught me was, you know, the reason why we never have a thermometer in the smoker room, because our smokers are inside, is because you really don't want to know how hot it is in that room. It's hot. I'm sweating, but I just drink lots of water and you know, just roll with it. That's Texas. Try not to get mad about it anymore.
Well, we heard from Luke earlier before we started that sprinkler day is coming up soon at camp. So,
No, it's not coming up. We ended it.
oh, you
That's
already
okay.
did sprinkler day.
We'll have plenty of that in our own backyard, I'm sure.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I want to give each of you an opportunity to just sort of clip. We're coming up on the close of the hour. Ziv, any thoughts you want to share for Barrett and his family for Independence Day in America? I know you know it's a big holiday. It's a big weekend. It's a big family holiday. Any thoughts you want to share before we close out? I know you're ready to host the Blacks at your restaurant at some point when they're ready to come. Ziv, did we lose your audio? All right, I'm not hearing him on the audio. Barrett, I want to give you and Luke any last words you want to share with the audience about your hopes and what you're appreciative to this Independence Day holiday.
Yeah, we just you know, we hope everybody just has a great celebratory weekend, everything. Thank you for this experience to, you know, work with Ziv. I'm looking forward to coming to visit over there and looking forward to just trying more of these recipes and staying in touch and being inspired every day and trying new things. So yeah, looking forward to hosting everybody.
Ziv, I think we have your audio back. Anything you want to share as a closing remark?
No, I enjoy that. And if you want to ask any questions, I'm available on the Facebook and stuff like that, on the Instagram, of course. And I hope you enjoyed it. Actually, this time, this is my third time that we're doing this. This time I didn't really cook. I just, you know, did the corn stuff, but cool.
Well, we like seeing, we love exchanges. We love the fact when people get to meet people to people, they share their recipes, they share their family stories and traditions. And that's something that we've been doing with the American Israel Friendship League for over 52 years now, of bringing people together, letting them open up their homes and their backyards. We're gracious to Barrett and Luke and the whole Black family for inviting us in on a busy weekend and sharing a bit from their family tradition, and Ziv for again being back with us here and inviting the Blacks to come visit you in Israel. It's a great part of the hospitality that's a part of the Abrahamic tradition of inviting people in over food and enjoying food together. And we're gracious to both the Reuters and the Blacks for continuing that tradition over this holiday weekend. We want to invite everybody back. We won't be back next Sunday. Actually, our next show will be on July 12th. So we'll be off for a few days during the extended holiday, but we're back on July 12th with a tour of American and Israeli artists and art galleries. So we hope you'll come back then and join us. For now, everybody have a safe holiday or holiday weekend, or just a great time with family to reflect on the many things that we have to be grateful for. Indeed, we have lots of different offerings. People are asking about Zumba. Of course, we'll be back with Zumba. We'll be back with the many different virtual tours that we do of Israel, as well as the many interesting programs that we like to bring you. We have a great summer full of programming ahead of us. Keep your eyes in your inbox, in the mailbox, and have a great, great week. Thanks to everybody from the AIFL team. Happy 4th.